This week's parsha is Parshas Va'Yigash. Parshas Va'Yigash begins with Yehuda confronting Yosef. Yehuda is the brothers. They don't know that Yosef is Yosef. They think Yosef is the Egyptian second to the king. And they think that, the brothers think, with Yehuda, their spokesman, that Paro is manipulating them and trying to get Binyamin out of them. And he is. He's now locking him up, and that's why Yehuda approaches him and begs him for mercy, at the same time as threatening him. The wording of the verse is interesting. It says, Va'Yigash Elav Yehuda. And the article translates that as, then Yehuda approached him. This is a very singular term to use to say that Yehuda approached him. And Hagasha, to be Nigash, means to have like a firm approach. It's not just that he walked up to him. In fact, the Mefarshim say that Yehuda actually went beyond the retinue of the king. You know, usually the king has like a group of people that stand around him, and you can't stand close to the king. You don't like whisper in his ear. You have to stand back, and you talk in front of all these people when you speak before the king. So the Or HaChaim says that what Yehuda did was that he asked the king for a personal audience. He asked the king that he should be able to speak to him beyond the earshot of the people who surrounded the king. And Yehuda walked close to the king, not the king, the second to the king, to Yosef, and said, let us speak. Let us speak, just you and I. Why did he do this? So the Or HaChaim says something amazing. In the 21st chapter of Mishlei, of Proverbs, Shlomo HaMelech says that Palgei Mayim Leiv Malachim B'Yad Hashem. Torrents of water, the heart of a king is in the hands of God. What does that mean? And this is really simple arithmetic if you think about divine providence. Hashem navigates the world. Everything that happens has to happen because Hashem wants it to happen. But if you think about it in a mathematical way, if a person has more impact on more people, the less free will he can have. Because if he was able to make decisions of that magnitude, he could affect many people, and Hashem would not be able to control the events of each person. Therefore, the higher you are on the totem pole, the more power a person has, whether it's government or whether it's a king or a president, the less free will they have. But the Or HaChaim says that free will, that the fact that they are that free will that's taken away from them, some degree of free will, is that Hashem will not allow them to make decisions that have world impact, because that will affect too many people. So therefore, their free will is at 20%, versus, let's say, a normal person, it's at 80%. So that's what the verse in Mishlei, in Proverbs, means. What does this have to do with what we're talking about? So Yehuda, though, Or HaChaim says, Yehuda was afraid of the people hearing. He wanted to speak only to the second to Paro, to Yosef, because he wanted to make sure that he was speaking to that person with only the 20% free will. The person what he says is 80% not free will, meaning that it's Hashem navigating, Hashem directing exactly what's going on. When there's people hearing what's going on, the king or the second to the king will feel pressure to do something. But if you speak just to the king, then you're speaking to 80% non-free will, meaning that it's exactly what Hashem wants. And that's why Yehuda went beyond the earshot of the people that surrounded the king to speak only to the second to the king, to speak only to the second to the king, because he knew that if he would do that, then he would know if this was really divinely ordained that Binyamin should be jailed, or that perhaps this is because of pressure from other places. Quick question on this week's Parsha. It's not really a question. It's a explanation. It requires explanation. How in the world could Yehuda, a person who comes to beg for food, of course, Yehuda is the tribe which is not symbolic, it's the future kings of the Jewish people. He is royalty. But at the same time, he was in the land of Egypt. He came there to get food for his starving family. And now he has the audacity to approach the second most important person in the land of Egypt and tell him that he's making a mistake. Or, like some commentators, threaten him. How did he have the audacity? Where did that courage come from? Where inside Yehuda do we see this extraordinary characteristic of being able to have such audacity and such courage? Have a good Shabbos.